we are off to another adventure, part of Shelley's vlog, another place right here in West Michigan. Come with us. We just left the studio and here we are at that place. That place is Fountain Street Church. Did you know it celebrates 150 years of service this year? Let's go talk to someone who knows about it. Ah, here we are, the sanctuary. Fountain Street Church, a big anniversary. I'm sitting with Fred Wooden, who's here to tell us all about the history. Take me back 150 years ago, my friend.
1869, right after the Civil War, two Baptist churches that had been quarreling for years put their heads together, buried the hatchet, as we used to say, and formed a single church on this spot, and they called it Fountain Street Baptist Church. And they built a building which lasted for most of 50 years, but in 1917 it burned to the ground under mysterious circumstances. The one thing we know is that Matthias Alton, the great painter here in Grand Rapids, was on the site and painted a picture of the church aflame. Not kidding. And it's hanging out in our chapel area. But we're in this space, which was created over a period of 2 years only, 1922 to 24. They had to wait 5 years to let the war go, to raise the money. And they didn't raise enough money, but they raised enough to get going. It cost about $600,000 to build this place back in 1922. And that wasn't enough. It cost actually $800,000 in the end. But the fun part is, it's almost as old as the church in some ways because it goes back to 1919 or thereabouts. So we're celebrating the anniversary of the organization, and in a few years it'll be the 100th anniversary of this building, which is spectacular.
Yes.
There's no question about it.
How will you celebrate in a nutshell?
Oh, we don't celebrate in a nutshell. We celebrate all over the place.
In a big shell.
There are parties, there are guest speakers, there are events. Mostly it's stuff that we're doing with each other. The same way you celebrate a wedding anniversary or an old great birthday.
Drop me one name of a speaker that's been at that pulpit.
Oh, you're asking me to pick one out of 100.
Yes.
My golly, that pulpit has seen the likes of Amelia Earhart and who else? Gee, that would be Winston Churchill. That might be Angela Davis. It was, let's see, all sorts of people that I can't even begin to enumerate.
Gerald Ford.
Among others.
Yes.
But he wouldn't share the pulpit with Linus Pauling because the two of them were at loggers with each other.
A lot of history here.
There is a lot of local history, and we've also hosted events for Laugh Fest. Rock and roll bands that had no place else to go came here, and people remember them.
That's great. Well, we want to still stay in a bit of history and have you share a rendering what this was perhaps supposed to look like. Let's take a look.
All right, let's do that.
And speaking of the rendering, Fred, here's the rendering. Describe this.
Well, this picture, we believe, was created to promote the new building before it was built. Because if you look carefully, there are things here that are not present in the building that was actually built. For example, there is no pulpit here at all, but there's a very large pulpit now, the famous one. And the story is that they decided to put in the pulpit because Alfred Wesley Wishart, who was the preacher at the time, was notorious for walking back and forth and back and forth, and people claimed they couldn't hear him because he kept turning. So they built the pulpit to try to keep him in one place.
Does the eagle, speaking of the pulpit, have any particular...
It's very common in Christian churches, and this was a Baptist church at the time. And it signified St. John of the Gospel. That's his symbol of the eagle, which is supposed to be the one spreading the word. So it has that kind of reputation. But if you look carefully behind me, up in what is called the baldacchino, we see lots of Christian imagery. There's Jesus on the ceiling, lots of apostles and disciples, each with their symbols. So this still remains a very Baptist church in its decoration, although we're very proud of the fact that along with all of our biblical friends on one side, we have our historical friends on the other up in the window, and our absolute favorite person in stained glass is that fellow up there, Charles Darwin.
I see him, oh my goodness.
Probably the only Christian church in America to have had a stained glass window of Charles Darwin installed as original equipment.
What's the message of Fountain Street Church?
I tell people that we're in business to do three things. We're here to free minds, to grow souls, and to change the world. And if that happens anywhere, we're happy to help and make that happen. Does that mean we're Christian? Some of us are. That means some aren't and some don't care, and we're not in the judgment business. We're in the business to help people learn, grow, and make a difference in the world. That's all we're about. And if you like that, we'd love to have you. But we also believe that if we model that in the community, we help the community, not just ourselves.
Well, what a piece of history.
We're
talking B.B. King, we're talking U2, and more has graced your stage.
If it's human, it happens at Fountain Street Church. Well, sometimes I like to say, we're the Church of Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get.
Love it. That's proof. Thank you very much, Fred.
It's always a pleasure, Shelley.
And there you have it, a visit to Fountain Street Church, 150 years young. Enjoy the celebration. Enjoy the rest of our adventures. Follow us on Facebook and on YouTube, Shelley's Vlog. We'll see you next time.